Yo, what is up everyone? Welcome to the Almost Grown Up podcast with Camille and Azim. If you're new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Drop a comment, drop a like, get involved, let us know what you think, and we'll see you in the video. 3, 2, 1.
This doesn't work, but that does.
Yeah, that's loud enough. What's good, brother?
Not much. I'm still sort of laughing about our intros.
You might, if you follow us on Instagram, which you should, we'll post a few of the outtakes because it's just voice cracks of the century and lots of fucking belly aches from laughing so much.
Oh yeah, my face hurts. I found out that if you have dimples, it's a mutation. I mean, I learned this from a meme.
Mutation?
So it's like, well, yeah, because like it's your facial muscles have like it's a genetic mutation. They have like a gap when it lifts up. So that's how people get dimples, because it's actually like a missing part of the muscle that's like, I don't really know how to show my fingers.
Dimples obviously like this sort of crevice that gets created, right?
Yeah, which is the missing part of the muscle.
Oh. It's like an evolution thing.
I'm a mutant. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not hard to deduce.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's like that special, because the whole thing on the internet was like, you're basically an X-Men. It's like, well, what a shit superpower that is. I got a missing muscle on my face, guys.
Well, it's like the thing with like not everyone has the tendons. No, the tendons here. There's like.
Oh no, no, they have the tendons. They just can't see them.
Yeah, no, but apparently it's like when we used to climb trees and stuff. Yeah, we don't climb trees anymore. I mean, we rock climb, but it's not like we need it for survival where everyone does it. It is. That's what we do now.
That is true.
Well, not everyone, but
I remember like I can't remember watching a. I can't remember what, maybe it was a documentary. They were basically talking about how like the shoulder joint, people get them injured because they just don't use them how they're meant to be used. We have them because we're from primates, right, where they used to climb, so they're used to holding their own body weight, hanging from it, lifting things up above their head. But because we don't have that, I should probably stop taking my hands out the shot. Oh, just about in.
holding up the frame.
Yeah, like because we don't lift it up anymore, lift up directly above our head. A lot of people don't have that mobility, which is why they end up in their old age with injuries, just from not using the muscles correctly. Oh.
That's weird. Funny you should say that, actually, because I went down like since 2 podcasts ago. When we were talking about wrestling, I was still in a sort of wrestling rabbit hole.
I sort of ended up. Is this on like the YouTube algorithm too? I think it's just...
potentially, yeah. Like a lot of because a lot of these guys are now.
Speaking of which, drop us a fucking like. Smooth.
They're all like retired or semi-retired now, and they're all kind of getting on a bit, and they're talking about all their injuries and stuff. And there's a really good Joe Rogan episode with The Undertaker, which I referenced anyways, but definitely check that out. And he talks about some of his injuries that he's had, where he was doing a bench press. He's kind of like quite heavy, and then his like gym buddy or trainer at the time, he just wasn't really paying attention. So he kind of lifted one, was like, oh yeah, it felt good, yeah. Went back down for the other one, and as he's about to come up, he just went, and he just went. It was like, he's got like 400 pounds on him or some shit, and his like trainer just comes up and is like, oh fuck yeah, you got this, one more. He's like, no, my arm is gone. It's like fucking upright rows of shit up to the thing, and it's just completely gone. But he was just saying there's like a tendon which goes from your upper shoulder towards sort of down to like your tricep or whatever. He doesn't have that, like it's dead. And then he went to like all these surgeons and stuff, and they're like best of the best shoulder specialists, and
as
they're
you
like,
imagine with that money.
yeah, and they're like, I don't know if there's a whole lot I can do for you. And he's like, lift your arm up like this, lift your arm up like this, and you paint like there's no logical reason why you should be able to do that, but it comes down to like you've injured it, but you've had to just get on with it. So your body's had to adapt. And as a result, I'm sure he strengthened a lot of other parts of his body where it's just allowed him to fucking use his arm again.
How old is he? Like 50 something?
Probably, yeah. But I've started to notice similar things, nowhere near on that level. But like my neck has always been really fucking tight. Like I've got this ball in the back of my neck where it does this thing where it just goes, like where you can feel it. Mm-hmm. It's just huge, right? And when I kind of try to massage it out, it kind of aches, but it doesn't go away. And before the first lockdown, I went and kind of for a couple of massages for it to try and be sorted out. And then his masseuse was like, bro, your neck is
If my masseuse
fucked.
went, bro, I'd be like, you're not my masseuse anymore.
No, but like in my head, she was just like,
homie in a hat.
your
like,
neck is
bro.
the worst I've ever worked on. I'm like, legit? She's like,
Thanks.
does it hurt? It's like, no, it's just fine. Like, I'm sure that parts of my body have just kind of got on with it. But as a result, you know, a couple of times when we worked out, you know, when we were doing those exercises, and I was like, bro, my neck is really stiff and I can't
untense it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's just that kind of overcompensation for like this bit here is fucked. So all this kicks in, traps kick in. Well, lack of traps kicks in.
Yeah, no, but traps kicking in is quite common though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, you felt it was just fucking rock solid. Corey Taylor.
That's not quite that. You felt it, Azim. It was
T-shirt, rock solid.
You felt it. It was rock solid.
Yeah,
that's good. I think we might start collating our slogans.
Yeah.
Well, once anyone decides to listen to this shit,
we'll just keep making videos anyways. For us.
We'll put a poll out and be like, which one would you like on a T-shirt?
Yeah.
Some good old slogans.
We'll make some for us, and that'll be it.
I'm not wearing that shirt.
No, in the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you're not going to wear it, what do you think? What makes other people like want to wear it?
No.
You got to wear.
Everyone's different, man.
Yeah,
I respect that.
you got to wear the merch you make, man. Come on. Whoa, that was a loud crack, bro.
Old age.
Jesus.
Speaking of old
Bro,
age,
yeah, I was going to say.
I was like looking in the mirror and I was like, what the I don't know if the camera can see this shit, but this thing's going backwards.
Get a nice still.
I'm getting it.
Yeah.
The thing,
That works. I'll zoom in.
the thing creaking is like not doing me any justice because it's making me look like I'm farting on camera, which I'm not.
Yeah,
Off camera though, all hell breaks loose. But
for me, like I've always had Joey Jordison forehead, like fucking
if you don't know
mad.
who Joey Jordison is, Google his
it.
forehead.
Right, Google his forehead. Big I'll even fucking show you. Big forehead. Well, it's not in comparison. It's not that big, but start to notice these fucking receding bits. But I've always kind of had a big slap fucking forehead, but I don't know if that's always been like that or like. So you know baby hairs, right? Like the little. Is that a sign of
I don't know. That's what I thought. Because I was like,
hairs going back or just
is it
they're
hairs
not going in
back
properly?
or is it going the other way? Yes, I don't know.
Help us.
Yeah, because like this. How do you know? No, should I start a separate fund
but-
for my hair
Yeah, but what
transplants
you-
when I'm older?
Oh yeah, I guess that's the only real way to fix it, right? Because
Yeah.
there's a bunch of different like.
I remember when I told you this the
Pills that
first
you
time,
can
you're
take.
like, why didn't you get it done soon? Just take the roots from your pubes. I was like, yeah, but then you have like the wrong texture hair for the front part of your hair.
Is that how it works? Is it just so you're
Yeah.
literally taking the
they
root?
they take the follicles, plant them there. So
Jesus.
it's a hair transplant. So they because obviously, I'm sorry if there's any bold listeners out here, but
I've got bald mates.
it is what it is. Like once it goes shiny, like there
That's it.
ain't no hair growing on that. So they need to, whilst it's still like possible to grow hair, implant some.
Oh, so you can't.
And sometimes they don't even take.
Oh shit! So you can spend all that money and you'd be like,
Yeah, which is like it's part of the thing that you sign.
oh okay.
So there's a high chance.
But don't they
Not high
take
chance,
it?
but there is a chance.
Don't they take it from like a donor? So
You're
like
your
you
own
would have
donor,
some.
so you're taking it from like
Oh.
here or whatever. So it's still the same texture hair, and they'll plant the whole.
Ah,
So like there's this
you can't take it from somebody else, can you? Well, I suppose you could, but I don't know if anybody would want to
I
donate
think
their
that
hair
would be
follicles.
weird.
I don't know.
Why would you?
Well, fuck knows. You got the same sort of similar. That's like organ donors.
Yeah, but that's because you don't have any of your own. Basically,
I don't have any of these.
you can't have a hair transplant if you haven't got any hair whatsoever.
Okay.
Like if it's just like all gone, then it's like you're too late. You missed that boat. It's that hairy boat has sailed.
Which I'm not like against, because for me,
I
hair
always-
from here down can just not exist.
Neck down alopecia.
Yeah, I'd sign me up.
You get cold balls.
Could you take arm hair? It's quite fine. Then put it on your head.
Yeah, that'd be weird. That'd just be like a weird sort of
go-
like Baby Yoda fur. Like you know when you see the light shining, you just
yeah. It's like that's almost like more like balding because they're like
that
fine
almost
and
like
all spread
highlights the
out.
fact that you're going bald rather than like I can't actually
It's
grow
like
any
thick
hair.
hair.
I've just got like peach fuzz on my head.
Yeah. There'll come a day where I'll just be like, fuck it.
I wonder how many
I've had a
like
couple of mates who've done that, and it's just like
well, just
they're
save it.
so much better as a result. They were always like, oh, I don't know if I should get rid of it, and then they got rid of it, and it's like, bro, it suits you. It seems like anyone who shaves their head off will suit it.
That's what you got to say anyway. It's like
got a weird
no,
shape.
bro, you look shit.
I know I got a weird shaped head. I got like a bit of a flat back. where
The hook.
there isn't really a hook. It's just kind of like I got quite a round head, so I don't really quite know what it looked like bald. I might buy one of those, like, you know, the things you wear underneath a wig
Toupees.
to really like the really tight fucking, almost like a swimmer's cap.
A bald wig.
Yeah, just to sort of see what
you look like.
what the future
You
me
have to
would
like do
look
the seam, so do a bit like concealer. Get I was gonna say Lily, wrong person. Get Charlotte to do it. It's like
Yeah.
patch you up.
Like, whoa. Or would you Photoshop it? Oh no, because then you wouldn't really see.
There you go. I'm trying to figure out I wonder how many like companies out there have done like hair transplants, but they probably know that they haven't got like the tech to do it as well.
Oh, I think that borderlines on some sort of like moral. Like,
Imagine just selling these people a dream and being like, yeah, we'll get your hair.
but I feel like you need.
And be like, oh no, it didn't take.
Yeah, we need lab reports. You can't just claim something and then not fucking.
How do you get certified as like a hair transplant?
You say FDA. What FDA in America? I don't know what it is over here. The governing body, NHS. Maybe I don't fucking know.
The Bald Eggs Union.
As opposed to the hairy eggs.
Oh, I got some hairy eggs for you. Wait.
Oh, I just clogged onto that. Yeah, I clogged onto that.
Nice. These motherfuckers. You guys need to follow us on Instagram. We're going to 100% have those clips up. I really hope you didn't switch the camera off in time for that.
If not, then there'll be audio at least. There'll be some form of voice crack.
Just to make sure.
Au naturel.
Just to make sure it didn't happen again. Voice crack. But I think one of the things we wanted to discuss this podcast was, funny enough, speaking about companies who say they're going to do things that can't do them, was trying to see through. I guess seeing through bullshit's a bit like broad and a bit of a crass way to say it, but I guess just seeing through what people want to sell you and what they actually will provide in return. I think there's a couple of occasions where I think
not just as a company though. Like
not
more
just a company, but even on like a
sell the idea
on
or
a
something.
human level.
Yeah.
Just being like a 100% rotten person, you know. Not even that they're doing something morally wrong, but they're just dishonest.
Yeah, like I get to
Or severe misrepresentation. I don't know how you want to put it.
I get it for like a certain point of like. So I've had it a couple of times where. I say a couple of times, quite a few times, where, you know, the industry that I'm in, like the music industry and the arts industry as the arts and entertainment industry as a whole, I'd have thought is quite similar between sort of disciplines. But you know, going for an audition or working with a new artist, and it's like, oh yeah, I've got all this sort of stuff, and obviously they're going to hype stuff up. Like it's just natural, isn't it? Like, but then it's mainly when you're younger. You can kind of but you just don't understand, and you know, you just got this haze of like, oh yeah, sick, oh cool, this is potentially going to happen, and you know, not to say you put all your eggs in one basket, but it's a bit like you kind of have this excitement for it, which is awesome, but sometimes you need to kind of lay back with that a little bit, because then you get your hopes up, and then inevitably 99% of the time, which is what's happened in my case, shit just doesn't happen, or it just falls through, or it's not exactly ours as it was sold to you.
I remember you telling me about that this Doors covers band.
Oh,
Remember that? So I went to one gig of theirs, and like
the only gig I played.
Yeah. So Camille was like super excited about it, and so we go to the gig, and the guys go to the back. They're doing their own thing. So I'm just there. I'm just chilling out by the bar, waiting for the bands to come on. Camille's in the dressing room with them. He just came out and sat with me. I'm like, do you want to be with the band? And by the way, so after this gig, there was talk of them going to Australia and touring and all this kind of stuff.
We'll get to that in a sec. Yeah,
but this was after this gig. But even before then, there was like a lot of excitement, and you know, Camille loves the Doors, a great band. And
well, I kind of got into them through playing the music. I was like, oh, this is kind of sick.
Okay.
It's not something I would actually listen to, but
right.
I got recommended for it, and I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot.
But then Camille comes out and just sits with me, and I'm just like, why are you in the back with your band? He's like, yeah, they're just doing lines in the back, and I'm like, cool. I'm like, fuck, I should probably go in the back then. Let me in.
I'm the roadie.
Yeah. But so I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. You know, to each their own. Do your thing. You know, musicians are going to be musicians.
Yeah, and I have no qualms about that, but it's just do it after the gig.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, you can. I mean, we can both sort of vouch for what happened on stage.
yeah, which was so the weirdest vibe. So there's okay.
I wish I had videos.
I wish I had videos because I should have taken them, but I was like, does he want this on record or not? So obviously, Camille being the sober one, you probably had like what a beer maybe, if that.
Probably just to be like, fucking hell, I need to get on some sort of level of insanity to cope with what's
So
happening.
basically, a beer versus 3 or 4 lines of ketamine for I'd say I think it was about half hour, 40 minutes set, but it felt like an hour. And no disrespect to you.
Yeah.
I know you know that, but so basically Camille was the only one who was solid. Just sat behind the kit.
But I was working my arse off.
Yeah, because the whole band was just all over the place.
We only had one rehearsal.
I don't know if anyone here has been on ketamine, but
I haven't.
You can't. There's no way you're going to be able to play a gig as a band to make 4 other people sync up and play the right. To be fair, they did quite well to get through any of the
I was going to say, like, there were moments where it clicked and we did shit. Mainly because I was like,
in time.
Like, here's where
Now.
shit's happening. Like,
But so to this band, fucking. Even the band manager, I think it was, who was Sarah, and he was just there, like head in hand.
was it band manager?
I can't remember. It's
I feel like there was someone.
The guy you were talking to afterwards, and he seemed a bit like you're talking about exchanging notes and stuff, and I was like, "What notes, man? Fuck this band."
Yeah, I feel like there was someone who they
Was it tour manager?
brought along to maybe open up the door, like for the Australian thing. So the kind of thing was like, oh yeah, it'd be cool. Like we've got some hookups in Australia with this guy, and they've gigged there before.
Yeah.
So it was a bit more tangible.
Right.
And they were just like.
But there was a point where the lead singer was so his girlfriend was sitting in the crowd as well, and he full on went up to is it Jim Morrison? No.
Yeah, the singer of
Yeah.
not Van Morrison. Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
Yeah, the singer for The Doors. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Curly head fun.
he. Bear in mind, this is a covered band, so like you need to method act
Kind of
right?
embody.
Yeah. So they had to get up the waistcoat sort of thing, the
Yeah.
wig. He goes off
Fucking
into
leather jeans.
the crowd,
Crowd.
and then like
the empty
like-
space in front of us.
like points at her while he's singing and stuff, and I'm like, bro, this is like the most
Horrible,
cringe thing I could possibly imagine, because she
Does-
probably sat there like, does everyone else know he's fucked? And everyone else knew he was fucked.
There was at one point where he's doing some weird fucking moves on the stage and
He was like imagine
fully like humping the stage.
yeah,
almost.
like
It
lying
was-
down, like kind of caterpillaring, if that's the term,
Yeah.
along, but whilst
Yeah.
also singing something.
It was weird, man. And
But the other thing is, because I feel like you were quite taken aback by it, because the stage like light was on you, and you weren't hidden by like a kit, because you weren't on a stage, like on a.
it was like a slightly raised stage. It's a cool venue. Like I've been there a couple of times.
But you could see in your face that you were just like, the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
just trying to like
Plow through and just
get the songs done.
And it was like an hour's gig, or something like that. It was one
felt
set,
long.
right? Yeah,
it was one set. Yeah.
yeah. It was like I don't know, maybe 10, 12 songs.
But then
and
anyway-
Doors songs aren't short.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So bottom line is this gig went terribly. But okay, I say it went terribly. It was just a bit embarrassing to watch the front four. The
and to
actual
also
music,
be in as well.
yeah, the actual music was
Ah,
decent.
yeah. We got through it.
Yeah. And then a couple of weeks, or maybe it was like a month afterwards, when he said now they're gonna go into Australia, and I was like, to cut this shit.
Well, no, but the thing is, like, so the kind of kick in the teeth was like after it, you were kind of like, oh yeah, we'll split doors or whatever, and then they made I think they had a decent amount of people turn up or expected to turn up, and then not many people do turn up or whatever, and then it was
Always the
like
case.
it's like 70 quid for the gig, and I'm like, are you mad? Like, I did like one rehearsal, like long fucking day, and learning all this shit and charting stuff out and whatever, and then didn't hear anything after that. There was like a kind of sort of weird like apology of like, oh shit, bad for kind of being like this. But I was like, yeah, if you've done it like that, then I know that you'll probably do it later on anyways.
Yeah, this is the first one. Like,
it wasn't enjoyable.
You got to put your best foot forward,
Which is
and you
weird.
did it on the first gig with a new drummer.
Yeah, which is so weird because after the first rehearsal, the only rehearsal we had, it was like sounding fucking sick. Like it was cool, and you were like, "Oh yeah, do this," and sounds great, and we just vibing. So when we got to the gig, I was like, bare excited. I was like, this is cool, man. Like, not even for like the prospect of, going and doing other gigs.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is cool. Like, I'm enjoying it, and they've got me into this band as a result. And then it just was like, just crumbled after that. And I was like, what the fuck? And the fact that you came down, I was like, oh, he's even come, it'll be sick. Is that back when we lived in Kensington? No, I want to say no. Before that.
Possibly. Just that's irrelevant.
But anyways, yeah.
But I feel like this, well, we spoke about this off camera too, about how this happens a lot in the music industry and just the arts industry in general.
Yeah.
So I know there was another band that you were in just before we moved into Kensington, and there's a front man. I remember meeting him one time. And I was like, I don't like the vibe of this guy.
Yeah.
Turned out to be abusive to his girlfriend, manipulative, stole like 20K off someone else. It was just like I said, an absolute, just 100% rotten to the core human. And again, pulls a wall over your eyes, sells himself as a certain thing, and then it's just like there must be a way to see through the bullshit in some way.
I think it's just experience. It's having to go through that bullshit to then, because there aren't any hard and fast rules to it, because everyone's
Just trust your friend.
Well, yeah. My bad.
I still remember that. No, it's fine. It's still. I remember the time because you told me like he has this like blind thing.
Yeah.
And then like apparently you could only see like, I don't know,
Close,
two
really
feet,
close up
2
or
feet in
something,
front of him or something. So I think the first time I met him, like he was in a shop paying for this thing, and then he used his phone like this, like he literally. I don't know where my phone is. There it is. He's like the phone was like that, and I was like, come on, what's this motherfucker doing? So he's sniffing his phone. It looks like the shopkeeper's right there. He's going to do a line. We'll do it outside. He wasn't doing a line. He was just trying to look at his phone like this. And I was like, this motherfucker just skated here at night.
Yeah.
And he's doing this in front of his phone. You would have gone into something. You know what I mean? Like, this, I don't know. There's certain things I'm sort of like, this doesn't add up.
Sure.
And then, when someone just, they have a way of talking and you're like, you need to talk about yourself far too much than the regular person.
Yeah, it was one of those kind of things where we just lots of talk about past stuff or things that he has,
or things that he's done, or his
just the demeanor of the person.
I feel like the more you need to talk about yourself and not just let it come through your own character, the more questionable it is.
Yeah, and it's also kind of just, I guess, the circle of people he hung out with where it just wasn't my kind of bag. It was a bit too pretentious. But I guess the one good thing that came out of it was I made a really good friend as a result. Like our kind of mutual friend at the time. Wow, I became friends with her, who was a mutual friend, and then now is a close friend of mine.
And now you both have a mutual
Yeah.
foe. I don't know.
Yes.
I wouldn't say it's that petty to go as far.
No. I mean, it's just, like I was saying, there's no hard and fast rule with any of this sort of stuff, because all of these experiences are different, and yeah, they might have similarities, but your mindset's going to be different. Everyone acts and reacts differently to certain situations, so you might kind of be like, oh yeah, no, but this, I have a good feeling about it, and until you learn
But this is
through going through it, then you can set out your own rules and not get too excited.
When we started this podcast, it's about being almost grown up, right? So this kind of ties in nicely because, like you said, within experience, you have that young exuberance. So like the Doors project, you were like,
it's like a puppy.
I'm excited. Yeah, exactly. Like you don't know what it is. And then I think eventually, like, so anyone who's listening to this who's younger than the age of, I don't know, 25, right? You're probably looking at people, and we've got some really low gain on this.
It's fine.
But yeah, you're probably looking at people older than you've been like, oh, they're old and they're miserable. And I think I used to be the same way, but I think you eventually have that like excitement beaten out of you because you've just been disappointed so many times. Which sounds like a really depressing thing to say.
And it's hard to then want to get out of the industry because you're like, oh, everyone's the same. But not everyone is the same. You just got to filter your way through the shit people. And unfortunately, chances are when you start out in it, you are going to meet those time wasters, and you just have to stick at it and just literally fight your way through the shit. Like you're just crawling through mud. You just got to fucking move them aside. And then you meet a few cool people. Like for me, some of the most fun I've had on stage and some of the best projects I have been and am currently in is through my mates in uni. Like my housemates or my ex-housemates, still doing stuff with them, and they're incredibly successful in their own right, and then they do music stuff and they're like, oh, I need someone to help do this, and then you kind of bring each other in because we know each other, but we didn't know at the time. Like it wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this producing thing and then I'm gonna get you to play drums on it and stuff. It was just we were just mates, and then that's because it was a very natural and organic friendship, which turned into a working relationship, and because we know each other that well.
Is that to say that? Because when you put it like that, for someone who doesn't like know you,
that was just my.
It sounds like business relationships can't ever work when it comes.
They can't. I'm just saying, like, for me, anyways, like the better things have come from the least expected things, or the things I put less.
The best
kind of
night
thought
out is
into.
the one you don't plan.
100%. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it works out.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just tons of stuff that kind of comes your way, and then you just got to work through it, innit?
But that's the other thing, especially when you're new in an industry, you can't
be
really say, you can't really
because you don't
pick
know.
yet because you haven't. Number one, you haven't got that experience, so it will excite you. Number two, you don't know that you're going to have more opportunities, so you're just like, I'll take whatever comes.
And that's definitely the way to go, because
I feel to an
you
extent,
won't know what
because you sell yourself short at some points too, because you'd be like, oh, I've got to take it because I don't know if I'm going to get anything else.
Yeah, but then it's also like, it's
like
a contact based industry where
exactly.
the more you play, the more people know about you, and it just takes one little remark to somebody else, like, oh yeah, okay, oh I actually don't have someone, oh yeah, I'll give him a chance, then that can open up an whole fucking world for you,
Yeah.
And you just have no idea,
But then it's so easy how you can have those, I guess the typical like Harvey Weinstein sort of characters that'll be like, oh, I can get you this.
Yeah. But
at least in that situation, I know it's a very dark topic, but like in that situation, he actually could do it because he was that powerful. But then imagine the amount of like young musicians or young talent in whatever industry get taken advantage of because they believe someone like that.
Yeah, but also because you're so hungry for the opportunity. No, not validation, but just to be within the thick of it. You can almost put yourself in situations where you probably shouldn't, but you don't know at the time. Well, you don't know any better at the time because you're like, oh, this will be a way in, and then it turns out to not be the way in. It just ends up being this infinite loop that you're stuck in, and then it's hard to break out of that as a result.
So do you reckon how you mentioned about there being a good loop in terms of
recurring work that works
when people put
like.
is there also an equally bad loop in the sense that if you're known to be associated with a certain character,
potentially
it'll then work badly for your brand?
Potentially, like that sort of stuff could take a lot longer to kind of manifest or to come out. Like, you can get involved with people who you may not necessarily get a good vibe off, but you kind of just play along and then you might start to like it. And, through a lot of my tutors in, like where I studied at ACM, they were telling us stories about, like just some of the shit that they've had. So one example was, an amazing, tutor. He had an audition to play for Seal. He went and had had the audition, and he's done some big stuff as well. And he's very like, he's kind of, he had his kind of rules set out, like he wasn't going to do certain things for any reason, right? So he had the audition, played, and it was really vibing. It was like, yeah, cool, like really like it, that kind of stuff. And there was another drummer who was auditioning at the same time, but they really liked him, So then he went out with his girlfriend at the time, I think wife at the time, whatever, to a restaurant to kind of celebrate because it was kind of portrayed in such a way where like, oh, we'll see you later kind of thing. You got the gig in it because they never want to say straight away to get your hopes up in it. So then he was in a restaurant. He goes, but then he goes into the bathroom, right?
It's weird that he decided
Seal
to
walks in.
Oh, what?
So Seal walks in. They happen to be in the same restaurant. He's like, oh man, like, whoa, what the fuck? Must have gone to like a nice restaurant or whatever. And then he just starts drawing up a line of Coke. And he's
Seal?
like, yeah. And he's like, sorry to call you out like that, Seal, but everyone does it, I guess. And he's
everybody knows.
He's like, oh, you want some? And he's like, oh, no, not for me. I don't sort of do that sort of stuff. And
that lost him the job. That you fucked up.
100%. Seal was like, oh yeah, okay, cool, no worries, man. So he went, and then he kind of sat back down and was like
I should take the line.
No, to his missus was like, I think I just lost the gig. I just got a bad feeling. So then the next day he gets a phone call So like, oh, sorry, man, like the other drummer's just a better hang. And it's like, I'm all for, you know, you need to hire someone who fits very well, like just basically someone who isn't a dick, because, you know, when you're gigging or when you're doing certain projects like that, you're spending more time off stage with that person than you are on stage. But to bring it down to that, like, oh, this guy does drugs, therefore he's cooler than you.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I think it's also a lot to do with, we'll switch the camera back on. Thanks, man. I don't think it's to do with that. I think if you've done it, you'd probably get that when you're on it, there's a certain level of self-consciousness that comes with it. And you don't want someone there making you feel uncomfortable whilst you are on it or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
And because, like you said, you can't put it down just to the hour and a half, 2 hours that you spend on stage. It's all the bits around that too, especially if you're touring. So
yeah.
I don't think it's about being cool. I think it's about not making the people who are on it or whatever. Because it might not even be.
But he did it in that way, yeah.
It might not even have been the fact that he said no to the line of coke to make him think he didn't do it. It might have been the way he said it. The way, if he might have been like visually taken aback by it, and Seal was like, ah.
No, but the thing is, like, so he was around all that sort of stuff, you know, from a lot of the various other gigs he did, you know, and he always was like, no, because that's like mine. Is it integrity? Or my. Yeah, I guess his integrity was just like, or his values were just like, no, I don't
it's
wish.
Not for me.
I don't wish to partake in it. So, you know, he stayed true to that, which I fully respect. And then he just didn't get that gig, you know. But after that, he got many other amazing opportunities.
Just not with Seal.
It just didn't sort of happen with that. He played with Joss Stone.
What if she does gear?
Amy Winehouse.
But she definitely do gear.
Yeah. Well, but that's what I'm saying. He was around people who were still doing it, but it wasn't just, you know, do drugs and get this cool gig. That's becoming less and less of a thing now, I think. It's becoming a bit more detached.
Seal is definitely going into this title, 100%. Clickbait city right here.
That will put like the animal seal in the thumbnail.
Seal's doing coke.
Ooh. Or the Navy SEALs doing coke. We can spin it in so many different ways. There might be a lawsuit though.
Yeah, I don't want to. But Seal, if you read this title and you're listening, let us know why the guy in the toilets who turned down your offer of coke,
You probably don't remember.
didn't want to. You probably too off his nut.
Years ago.
He's like,
What?
he's like, okay, but which one?
These motherfuckers.
But yeah, I think that's a nice way to wrap it up. Seal, you hit us up in the comments. Let us know why your coke advances were turned down and why you didn't give them the gig.
Yeah, as always, guys, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as well if you haven't already. And if you're just listening if you're just listening to us on Spotify or Apple or whatever, a rating and a review would be mega appreciated.
And make sure you hit that like button.
Yeah. Peace.